Under the scope.
Hey, it is Jared and Shane. We are back with another
nice rhyme.
Another Scope movie review. As promised, it's Atomic Blonde, Jared, and we're lucky we made it out alive.
Almost didn't happen. There were
Tell us.
It was like a crime caper just to get in the theater.
Yep.
Shane was stuck in traffic with
Severe weather everywhere.
I was here early, and I got through the first checkpoint unscathed, and I was in line to get tickets, and Shane walks in with perfect timing, securing us 2 seats.
It was rock star.
To the screening of Atomic Blonde.
It was rock star style right there, baby.
And the fireworks didn't stop.
They did not stop, Jared. We had the running commentary girl behind you who sat and described very poorly, by the way, what was happening on the screen.
I was
giving
just
her
reacting, like, oh yeah. Just
just get rid of him already.
Just shoot him already.
And
she talking about like zombies or whatever. Oh,
it was terrible. And I had a guy next to me who was jittery and having sleep apnea issues, literally snoring, or maybe just sitting there and just choking on his own saliva and flesh. I don't know, but it was gross.
That could be the case.
But then the capper to the
main
Atomic
event
Blonde Sunday, an actual, honest to goodness, slap down.
Actual fight.
We watched it. Somebody didn't like somebody walking in front of them, and it turned into some yelling. It escalated. People stood up. Drinks were thrown. Punches were thrown.
People were escorted out.
Yep, it was crazy. And then we saw a movie.
The whole time a movie's happening.
Yes.
Can you believe it?
They didn't stop. There were tornado warnings, Jared.
Oh, what a night. What a night to be alive.
We are lucky to be where we are right now, Jared.
Yeah.
It was synergy at its finest. But we didn't come to review very poorly done cage matches and
we went through hell to bring you
arts.
a review of Atomic Blonde.
Atomic Blonde starring Charlize Theron and
James McAvoy.
Professor X, as he's known.
John Goodman.
The
the woman from Kingsman, also from The Mummy. I don't remember her name.
Yeah, but
Sophia something.
Yep. There we go. There's the people and some other
British blokes.
Some bit players, maybe some German actors in there.
No one else you care about.
Nobody. It's Charlize Theron's. It's her film. She produced it.
Yeah.
She starred in it.
Yeah.
She smoked in it.
She did smoke in it.
A lot of smoking.
Shot some guns in it.
Jared, give us
some people in
give us a loose explanation of this film.
Well, Charlize Theron plays a secret agent, a spy, whatever, named Lorraine.
Sure, let's go with
something last name. I don't remember exactly what it started with a B. Apparently, there is as there is often in these spy-type films, there is a list that has gone missing. There was a list that was supposed to be coming. First of all, it takes place in Berlin for the most part.
1989, literally days before the fall of the Berlin Wall.
One British agent is supposed to be bringing this list back across the border from East to West Berlin, but he gets caught by the KGB, killed. And the list is taken from him, and of course, this list is always, as it is always in these films, a list of people's covers.
It's like
list of agents.
It's like a MacGuffin.
Yeah. It's a typical thing. You know, you saw it in Mission Impossible. You've seen it in other films. That's fine. It's not the whole purpose. I mean, it's a thing they got to chase in order for all the cool stuff to happen. So Lorraine apparently has maybe a history with this person. But she is sent in to Berlin to meet up with David Parzival, I believe is his name, played by James McAvoy.
Right.
And ultimately to try to retrieve this list that has gone missing.
And then the backstabbing, then the spy shit happens.
Correct.
Oh, I just swore. There we go. We just totally, now we're adults.
Well, that's what happens.
The spy stuff happens. I mean, it's a rated R movie. This is a rated R review, Jared.
This is going to be violence.
I mean, you could do your usually fantastic synopsis of the film plot, but let's be honest. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. Not all of it understandable, but let's just say it's typical spy fare in that regard.
We should say that the sort of the setup for the film is that she's actually being interviewed after the fact.
Right. It's usual suspect
like a
style
debrief. She's in a room. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, very similar how things play out in usual suspects.
So she's in the interrogation room. The tapes are running. There's people behind glass. John Goodman is there.
And she knows they're behind glass, Jared. Make no mistake.
She is the master of her craft.
She might have X-ray vision. Yes. So John Goodman plays sort of the Dickie Yank.
Yep, he's the CIA guy.
She plays the aloof British lady. And then she tells her story.
She tells her story of what went down in Berlin.
So let's get into sort of what makes this Atomic Blonde film stand out is that it definitely embraces that 80s vibe.
Yes.
Stylistically, very much like an 80s movie, a very robust 80s soundtrack, but let's make no mistake, Jared, I am the history master.
Okay.
And we all know that people in 1989 were not listening to songs that came out in 1983.
Are you sure?
I'm positive, Jared.
Okay.
I am positive.
Sidebar, I didn't realize this was taking place in 1989. Somehow I missed that.
No cell phones. There was nothing. I mean, it's interesting when you have a film like this because, if you strip away all that extra technology stuff, it feels just like any other film. I mean, it's not really dated. Maybe it feels even a little timeless.
Sure.
I mean, it's more modern. But yeah, to get back to it, I mean, it's stuff. If you compare this to like Stranger Things, that's always sort of my benchmark for being period
accurate. At least
accurate.
since late summer last year.
Right. That I mean, they're all over the place. And because it's in Germany, Jared, you've got to have Nena. You've got to have After the Fire. Mm-hmm. You have to have Falco. Mm-hmm. You have to have all the big German crossover hits.
Gotta have Peter Schilling.
Gotta have Peter Schilling, or the German version of Peter Schilling.
Exactly.
And then of course you've got to have some of that industrial stuff. I think they had very early 9 Inch Nails. Okay. I think that there was Depeche Mode. There was Susie and the Banshee. So, I mean, a good soundtrack, but let's be honest,
a little all over the place.
Yeah, they're trying to set a tone. They're trying to set it.
Yeah.
And the
it's a style piece.
In the visual nature, you're looking at these people. They look, especially Charlize's character, is super, super cool and super, super hot.
Yep.
But is that how people really looked in 1989? I don't know. I mean, who cares, right?
Yeah, it's a movie with a style.
It's a style.
It's not meant to be realistic.
Yeah, it's based on a comic as well.
She's a spy, but she sticks out like a sore thumb because she's got the platinum blonde hair for crying out loud.
So let's talk about the standout scene of the film.
Yes.
Because I actually think the film, the first half, actually dragged a bit.
It was a little slow.
It was slow.
Before things start to ramp up.
The fight scenes were not particularly great. I mean, they were cool. They were, but they weren't breathtaking. And then there's this long scene in this stairwell where she's taking on some Russian thugs.
Yep. She's trying to get someone out from east to west.
Yep. Absolutely brutal, and after the stairwell, it goes on to a car chase.
Right, it's like this whole extended. It's meant to be a single take. Obviously, there's some spots on there where they hid some edits.
What's that movie, the Of Men movie, where they have that long
Children
of Men? I mean, it probably something is this is gregarious and bold, like a bold type of long shot, which clearly that was cut and whatever, but still they did it. They put it together in such a way that it felt contiguous as it went through.
Exactly.
So. That scene alone probably raised my star review.
I agree. I think the film was.
I'm like, what are we into, Jared? This is sort of a yawn. Like, it's style over substance. There's no substance in this film.
Yeah, and I knew this scene was coming at some point because I'd heard about it. But once you hit it, I think the whole film elevates, and everything after that is, for the most part, way better.
It doesn't. I still don't think that it makes it a 3.5-star film.
We've been on a trend. Are you saying? Are you foreshadowing we might not be
I'm just saying that I don't think my review is going to go that high. But I have to say that it came together, and then at the end there's a lot of plot twists and turns that sort of
the onion starts to peel back, and we start to get to the truth of what's going on.
I don't know if everything that we saw in that film, gave you any indication that it was going to play out that way. Maybe that's what spy movies are.
Yeah.
I mean, some of that stuff sort of came out of nowhere, but it's still
cool.
Yeah.
And it was interesting, and you're kind of like, whoa, when it happens. But I don't know that if you went back and watched the film again, that you would see too many clues that this is how it was going to play out.
Right. Charlize owns her character.
Yeah, she's super cool.
I mean, like I said to you before we started watching this film, I've never seen a movie with her in it where she was bad.
No, she's always great.
She's elevated bad movies, and she is the star of good movies. I mean, think of Mad Max, that sort of thing, where Fury Road, where, she completely stole the film from Mr. Hardy and made it more about Furiosa than it was about
and he was
Mad
good.
Max. And he was fine.
But she was fantastic.
But she was something special.
Yeah.
So, there we go. Any comments you'd like to make?
I wanted to say, I really enjoyed. You said some of the early fight scenes were sort of lackluster. I agree then that they weren't, there wasn't a lot going on, but I think I really liked the sort of fighting style that they developed for
the
this.
Physicality,
right?
Fight dirty.
The fact, well, it's fight dirty, but it's also like she's under. She doesn't have as much mass as most of the people she's fighting. So they really had to give her moves that showed her like really trying to harness as much power. So it's not a lot of quick moves. It's a lot of like wind-ups, a lot of power moves,
and
a lot of leverage stuff.
And this is a fighting style that I actually created. I call it nuts and knees. Because that's a lot of what she was going after, nuts and knees.
This is what you do. You try to incapacitate as quickly as possible, and nuts and knees are a way to go about it.
And there's a lot of nuts and knees.
By the way, if you have any sort of small appliance in your apartment and Charlize Theron shows up, chances are you're going to get hit with it.
And if you have a hose in your place for some other reason, she will beat you with that hose.
Rodeo champion.
She did not electrify it.
Oh, wow.
She's not a Kingsman.
That's too bad.
So, yeah, I mean, I think this is this is a movie that gets your adrenaline pumped.
Yeah. Definitely the back half.
Yeah.
Once that continuous scene starts, and then everything after that is way, much better, and you get much more engaged.
I would say that I have a slight disappointment of the fact that that movie did not have it. I mean, it was a slow burn up to it, and I think that it could have been better. I think you could have had a higher energy all the way through. You didn't need that slow burn to lead to that scene. I mean, I'm sure it was a very specific choice and a very specific decision, but this is a movie like you. I was pumped to see this. This was high energy,
and it's not a failure by any means.
No. But I think that you could have brought a little bit more of that. And the other thing I have to say is the James McAvoy character.
Mm-hmm.
She was the most compelling person in that movie by far, and everybody else was just playing in her world. I wish there could have been a little bit more.
And really, she's telling the story, so we're seeing 90% of the film from her perspective anyway. So it doesn't give a lot of time to the other characters to really.
She's in pretty much every scene, right? I mean, she has to be.
Yes, absolutely.
So yes, that's Atomic Blonde. Now Jared and I will give a score, a thought, and then we'll bring it to you in just 1 second.
The scope score is 3 stars.
So 3 stars.
After 20 minutes of deliberation, we came to an agreement.
Everyone knows that this movie was high on my list. If you watched our Scope Summer movie preview, Jared might have mentioned it as well. So not a disappointment. Maybe there will be more Atomic Blonde.
Are they meant to try to start a franchise?
Well,
they're always trying to start a franchise.
Why couldn't you? Why couldn't you start a franchise? She's a spy.
Why not? She survives.
I'm going to say, if you're going to be that statuesque and that model-esque, having that platinum blonde hair, you're a mark, Jared. You're a mark.
You're going to stand out.
You're a mark.
You're going to stand out. Maybe that's what she wants. She wants to stand out.
No,
then she can know who's watching.
That's how confident she is. Yeah. Jared, if you want to stand out, if you want our fans, if you want our viewers to stand out, how can they make that happen?
You can like, comment, and subscribe down below.
That's right. Just that easy.
Yeah.
And if you got comments on nuts and knees, nuts and knees.
Nuts and knees, folks.
Yep, cock and balls, nuts and knees. It all goes together, Jared. Make sure that you comment.
Let's call back to a private conversation.
I know, but it's entertaining to me.
I know.
So there we go. Next movie's on the horizon.
I don't even know. It's August. You're going on vacation. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yes.
Maybe the Dark Tower. There's a couple other good ones coming out in August. We'll see what happens.
But the scope will be on top of it. So for Jared, I am Shane. Thanks for watching and listening to your Complete Culture Cast. We'll be back with more scope coming soon to a theater and to a car near you. Bye for now.